Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I could not resist pulling out the My Favorite Things Shaker Flower Die-namics set again. I really wanted to use the new Thank You Circle Frame die that I just showed in their September release, and I'd done the release and review video and said I had an idea for it, and this was the idea. So this week's color throwdown challenge was red, white, and black, and I always link to it in my blog post that's linked below the video. So I started off by die cutting everything before I even got the camera rolling because it just saves me some time. And I die cut some MFT Wild Cherry cardstock with the flower die from that Shaker Flower set. And then I coated the back of it right around the opening with just my Xyron tape runner. And then using one of MFT's little circle shaker pouches, I popped that into place. And then I'm just filling it with a variety of sequins and some little white beads from Pretty Pink Posh. So I just kind of went through my stash and chose some marshmallow seed beads, marshmallow sequins, some onyx sequins, pewter sequins, and then the little 3mm sparkling clear sequins just to create a nice little mix. And then kind of eyeballed it as to how much I wanted. You know, you still want them to shake around, but I like to have lots in there because it looks pretty. And the polka dot paper is from the MFT Dots and Stripes Neutrals, my ultimate favorite pack of pattern paper. So I die cut the black and white polka dot paper with the circle die that comes in that same set. And I backed it with some copy paper that I could then apply all the adhesive, just the copy paper, and pop that onto the back of the flower. And then I've got my fun little shaker. So after I had done that, I had die cut some pale gray cardstock with that Thank You circle frame die because that fits this circle as well as like MFT's specific like circle shaker set. But I like using these with the flowers, and I'll have a link to at the end to the other video I did using the happy birthday one with the flower shaker dynamics because it's so much fun. And then of course I had to use the A2 rectangle STAX set 2, and I'd used the largest die from that rectangle STAX set to die cut the white and black pattern paper, and I used one of the smaller dies to cut out the center. That's a way to kind of conserve your papers because especially when you're layering like I am here, no one's going to see the center anyway. So I used a smaller die to die cut that and set it aside to use on a future card. And then I die cut a smaller rectangle with one of the smaller dies just from some white cardstock. Now I wanted to add another sentiment to my card friend. So I used MFT's Grateful Dynamics and die cut some black cardstock 3 times with this. And then I'm just adding some multimedia matte adhesive just to the biggest areas of the word. You don't need to coat the entire die cut. Just enough that it holds it together because this is a super strong adhesive. So I just squeeze on a bit on all the thickest areas of the sentiments, and then I stack each one together. So I have 3 layers of this, and it just gives it that extra dimension. I love the look of stacked sentiments. So once I've got all of that put together, I can start assembling my actual card front here. So I've got my shaker, I have my background. I'm going to first adhere the shaker flower itself, and again just using my tape runner I applied it kind of liberally so I could press this into place. And then the little stem I die cut from that same pale gray cardstock, so I'm going to put some more adhesive on the back of that, slip it under the flower there, and then the part that's just hanging over I can flip that over and trim that off with scissors. And then I die cut the leaves from the set, and I still refuse to remove the centers from the one leaf that cuts all the little pieces out. I just love the look of it. So I'm just applying the adhesive again on the back of these and then popping these into place. And then to adhere my sentiment, I'm just going to coat it again on the back with that multi-medium matte adhesive, making sure I've got it from one end to the other to adhere kind of over top of that little bit of the flower it hangs over, as well as the pattern paper. So using my grid line mat to kind of make sure I've got everything, you know, lined up straight, get that into place. And then for the inside of the card, I'm using the Hearts and Stripes pattern paper pack from MFT because this red stripe pattern, the red is a very close match to the Wild Cherry cardstock. So I did the same thing. I die cut it with the largest of the rectangle STAX set 2 dynamics, cut out the center with a smaller dynamic set die from that set, and then cut some white cardstock from one of the smaller rectangles. And then the sentiment is from the Grateful for You stamp set, and I stamped that with my VersaFine Onyx black ink. And I'm going to adhere that to the inside of my card because I decided to make my card base black. So this just saves me from having to use, you know, a gel pen, plus I was able to just stamp a sentiment. Otherwise I would have had to stamp and heat emboss the sentiment so you could actually see it on the inside of the card. And I was able to bring in that bit of red pattern paper because I just love how that kind of just makes it pop on the inside. So I'm going to adhere my card front to my card base here, and it's a top folding A2 size card, by the way, so 5.5 by 4 1/4 inches. And then there's a final little bit to bring in that red again. I pulled out my Doodlebug Sprinkles little heart sprinkle shapes and just added one to the outside, and that finished off my card. So like I mentioned before, I will have links below the video to my blog post with links to supplies used. In my blog post, I'll have info about the Color Throwdown Challenge. And then here at the end of the video, I will have links in the top corner to the 2 other videos I've done using this flower shaker dynamics that I love so much. So check those out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in another video. Bye!